I'm Erin Reese,
I'm Adam Reese.
and this is our comeback story. I think the easiest way to start is really just talking about the fact that I struggled with alcohol for many years. It progressed several years of me keeping it in secret and it being something that I hid from a lot of people. We tried many ways for it to not become a problem, or I tried many ways for it to not become a problem. And then in 2018, I lost my father to cancer, and this is after many other losses and trauma and grief in my family. And at that time, that is when I see that the alcohol usage and just behavior of addiction really took off. And from then on out, for the next several years after that, I was in full-blown addiction. No matter how much I tried to deny it, how much I tried to make rules and tried to set boundaries for it, it always came back to becoming a huge problem. And that leads up to February of 2021 when we had our major ice storm in Jackson and we were stuck indoors. And to be honest, I don't remember much of that week. I drank every day, most of the day, and which led to February 22nd of that year, waking up and Adam standing over me and telling me to get up, that he needed to talk to me. And I did, and at that point Adam told me that I could no longer be a part of the house or in our home if I was going to continue to drink the way that I was had been. And I'll let you kind of add to that.
So I was an enabler. I see that, it was easy to see looking back that I didn't do anything to stop a problem that I knew was a problem. I allowed it to continue for years, really. I just didn't want to accept that it needed to stop. It was enjoyable. It was something we did together, and but at that point, I knew it couldn't go on, and I knew that for our family to continue in a healthy way, that alcohol could not be a part of it. So what kept me from stopping it was that I knew I was going to have to force her to make a decision. So I had to be prepared to live with the decision that she made. So if she were to have chosen alcohol, I had to be prepared to lose my wife and the mother of my children, and for them to to not live in the house with her anymore. So that was the hardest part for me. That's something I did not want to do for a very long time. But I knew that it had to happen, and thankfully, she chose us.
So that day, I know that was like probably the hardest decision he ever had to make, because he had to choose our children, and even though I loved our children, Olivia and Wyatt, so much, it's hard to explain to someone who doesn't have an addiction, but you can love somebody so much and that still not be enough to quit because you need help. And you know, at the time, that was one of the lowest, worst moments of my life, was to be asked to leave my home and to leave Adam and the kids. I did leave. I went to a hotel and literally lived in darkness for 3 days, physically, mentally. I did not even know if I would live through that. And somehow, some way, and now we know only God, I Googled a rehab place. I ended up in Miami the next, 2 days later, on a bus to a place I'd never been to, didn't know any of the people there, and I ended up in a treatment facility. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, in the time, I didn't know if I would have a home to come home to or a family. But I knew that if I wanted to live, that I had to do this. And so thankfully, it was the place I needed to be at. I met some of the best people and had the best therapist that really, really, really saved my life. And, you know, I was gone for several weeks and returned home, and we began the process of rebuilding a life without alcohol and what our marriage was going to look like, what our family was going to look like moving forward. And thankfully God just really, I mean, I can't even really describe how much God turned it around. You hear in recovery rooms a lot that whatever you lose in your addiction, you will gain back tenfold in recovery. And we have seen that in every area of our life. And we, as we begin to rebuild, that's kind of where CrossFit came back into our life. We reconnected in our marriage in that. We started doing CrossFit in our garage again. And then our kids got back involved and started doing it with us. And it just kind of became something that we connected on as a family to kind of start rebuilding this life that had kind of been torn apart by this addiction. And through that, we started feeling like God was telling us that there was some kind of connection here of what I was doing in recovery to stay sober and what we were doing in CrossFit. And the more we did CrossFit, the more we saw that maybe this could help somebody else.
Yeah, where we are today with CrossFit Comeback is what I see as a combination of our experiences of the past, 13, 14 years, you know, back to before when we owned CrossFit Clinton. That unique experience combined with what we've gone through with treatment and recovery, all of that brings us to the mission of CrossFit Comeback and our story. And we feel that if we put it out there as a mission and as a mission statement for the gym, that we can create a place for other people to experience the same things. The struggle that is talked a lot about, you know, in the gym, it's dealing with all of those things, being able to have that perspective. through past experiences is just it creates a unique place, and that's our goal.
And just our love for people. I mean, I have always enjoyed being around people, and we had a great community when we had CrossFit Clinton, but now our perspective is so different in the sense that I just want to love people, and I want to provide a place that they can come in and work out and have this comeback, have this area that they can do something life-changing. And we have just seen what CrossFit has done for us in our story, and we just really want to celebrate other people and celebrate other people overcoming things and loving on them in that. And that is just my heart going into CrossFit Comeback. And we have been incredibly blessed through my recovery. And it's not even people say blessing and they start thinking materialistic things or things like that. No. Our marriage is strong. Our kids are great. We have friends. We have great people that loved on us. We have peace of mind. We have a calm heart. We have physically able bodies. We have stronger minds. Our relationship with the Lord is strong, and those are the blessings that come out of being in recovery and coming on the other side of this huge thing. This thinking that you're at the bottom, because when I was in that hotel room, I did not think I would ever be here. And those things, those are the blessings that we are here. We do recover. We do get to have this life in front of us because of that. And those are the blessings we're thankful for. And and our kids, they are a huge part of our story. They're open about it. They make me so proud because they have no problem talking about mom had to go to rehab because she had to get help, and now here we are, and now we're getting to do this gym, and we as a family, me, Adam, Olivia, and Wyatt, we get to live that out in front of people unashamed. And I'm just as proud of them living it out unashamed as anything, and just it being a part of their story too. And so,
I mentioned before, our unique experiences have brought us to this place of starting CrossFit Comeback, but maybe our experiences aren't that unique. Maybe there's other people going through very similar struggles, and maybe not necessarily go into treatment for an addiction, but maybe it's anxiety, depression, some of those things that maybe don't get talked about. But CrossFit Comeback, this is us setting the stage for other people to tell their comeback story.
I want people to always know that you're never too far gone. You're never too far from God's grace. You're never too far from somebody being able to love on you. You're never too far from being redeemed. I've heard, I have a comeback story. We have a comeback story. I've heard so many other people tell their stories. And man, it is incredible to see what you can come back from. And I just believe there's always hope, and there's always a way, and you just can't give up. And even when it really feels like there's no hope, there's always a way. So
it's never too late for a comeback.
It's never too late for a comeback. Never too late for a comeback.